Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Tuplex. We're back in the Subterranean, what's it called? We're Subterranean. I have an awful lot of swamp biome here, don't I? There's still a lot of stuff that we can clear out. Like, I feel like we've cleared out so much of the asteroid that we're on, but when you look at it from out here, you can see that we still have a ton of unexplored area. Well, maybe not a ton, but all of this, a little bit here. Most of the right side of the map we've gotten to. We have this big area down here that we haven't looked into. Yeah, that's the edge there. So we still have a lot of exploring to do. At home, we're continuing to explore space. Both of the rockets are out at the moment. The exploration ship is in the 50,000 kilometer belt now, checking out the metallic asteroid. And then we have the organic one. Now the shattered planet, it seems like there's nothing to do there, which to me seems a little bit odd, but anyway, we still have a lot more stuff to explore in space as well. And it'll be good when we have some liquid oxygen. That'll help us get greater distances. Okay, so this is pretty much ready to start up. I'll get to that in a second, but before I do, while I was working on getting all that ready to start for this episode, I had a major problem down here. You may remember that this steam chamber used to end right here. And I think what happened is I must have been cooling a batch of water from the steam vent. You know, I've been making steel nonstop whenever I can, whenever I have enough lime to do so. And I think what happened was that I overloaded it. Between the aqua tuner and the cooling from the metal refinery, the steam was getting hotter and hotter. The steam turbine was running at full capacity, and it still wasn't enough to take all the heat out of the steam. And eventually, everything inside started to overheat. When that happened, I had some dirt, much like you see here. I had some dirt in there from the layer of polluted water I had at the bottom. All the dirt here turned into sand. And they basically just turn into solid tiles, you know, like as if I had never dug them up before, including one on the aqua tuner. So then the aqua tuner was entombed. It couldn't work anymore. And anyway, all the coolant from the refinery spilled out all over the place. It was a real mess. So I had to spend some time cleaning things up down here. It wasn't too bad. I had to add more petroleum to my cooling loop for the refinery. I had to go inside this chamber to clear out all the dirt and debris. I decided just to refill it with pure water. And then I added a second steam turbine. So that way we have the ability to remove more heat from this. So now I've got 2 steam turbines, and so far seems to be working okay. So that was exciting. All right, so back to the liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen. Like I said, this is pretty much ready to turn on. What I did since the last time, I filled these pipes with supercoolant. Okay, so both of my cooling loops are now circulating supercoolant. Now, getting the supercoolant in there was a little bit tricky. It wasn't too bad. What I did is I came up here and I created a little well here with tiles. When you do this, you have to remember to put some backing. So I put a couple drywall tiles there, and then I put a liquid pump and a bottle emptier, like that. And then we, you know, the dupes brought a bottle of the supercoolant up here, emptied it into there, and then from here I could pump it into those pipes. So it took some time, but it was fairly simple to do so. I also had to fill this with hydrogen, which was easy enough. I just brought some of this hydrogen over. And in addition to that, I filled the chamber where the steam engine is with hydrogen as well, so that would be cooled. I used to have... How did I do this? Yeah, this tile I used to have a vent right there. So I just fed some in there. And then I, as quickly as possible, deconstructed that vent. I also had to remove the drywall from behind it in order to be able to put a tile on it. So while I did that, some of the hydrogen was leaking out, but I didn't lose too much. I lost about 500 grams of hydrogen waiting for that to get done, and then I sealed it up. So everything is sealed up and ready to go. The only thing I'm not totally happy about is I left some debris inside there. So there's some lead and iron ore and junk like that laying on the floor. I wasn't able to get it all cleaned out. But aside from that, it's in pretty good shape. Oh, and then water for here, I brought in from this pump. I had to run a water line all the way up here to fill that chamber. I didn't want to try to fill, you know, what's that, 15 tons of water with pitcher pumps or with bottle emptiers. So I just ran a pipe and let that run for a little while. So everything's all set. These two chambers are currently in a vacuum. We haven't pumped in any gas yet, but we'll do that now. I'm going to slow down to normal speed as we activate it. So the first thing we need to do is open the valves. So just to shut these off until I was ready, I just set the threshold to above 450 instead of below. So we just change that state there, and then those will turn on and we'll start pumping in gas. As we can see there. All right. And then I'll turn on my cooling loops and we'll let those start to run. Okay, and then we can just watch the temperatures start to drop. Oh, you know what else we need? Electricity. That's the final step. Otherwise, I'm just pressurizing these chambers with nothing else going on. So actually, let me turn these off again until I get power brought in. I don't want to put too much pressure in there. I don't know if it'll break the walls or not. Probably not, but I'll play it safe. Where are the dupes? Here comes somebody. Right on. Okay. Now we are a go. Okay. And I think we talked about this before, but the reason the supercoolant is so good to use here is because of the peculiar property of the aqua tuners, where whatever flows through it is cooled by 14 degrees C. And since supercoolant has such a high heat capacity, Cooling supercoolant by 14 degrees removes a lot more heat than cooling any other liquid by 14 degrees would. So that's why using supercoolant is so powerful. Alright, so we're already below zero here, at least on the supercoolant. Let's see how our gas is. Yeah, gas is starting to get below 0 degrees. And continuing to pump in. We've got now almost 10 kilograms of gas in there. Now, I think one potential issue that I did here is I have this connected to my solar panel system, which is always running out of power. So just in the meantime, I put in some coal generators and hooked that up to the grid as well so that I can get some extra power. Since this is going to be consuming, you know, over 2,000 watts pretty much nonstop. The water in the chamber now is 90 or 79 degrees, so we'll have some steam in there pretty soon, I think. Alright, and then somewhere around 180 something, this will start to liquefy. We can see that the window tile is quite cold as well. And this hydrogen gas is getting chilled, which in turn will make the hydrogen gas inside here stay very cool. Quite cold actually, so the steam turbine should never have any problem with heat. Alright. Let's speed up time a little bit more. And we'll just sit here and watch until it starts to turn liquid. Looks like these are already pressurized about as much as they can be. How are we doing on hydrogen? Yeah, we still have several tanks full. Alright, we're minus 100. Hydrogen's not far behind. Alright, well, while we're waiting for that to finish cooling down, over here I kind of sketched out a layout for my, we talked about changing the power grid. So what I want to do is just make a really wide tunnel running vertically around my whole base. And my idea here was to have some ladder, have a transit tube. On this side I've got room for 2 heavy wires, and then these other 4 tiles, well, really all the tiles could run pipes and ventilation pipes and things like that, since pipes and ventilation can overlap any of this other stuff. So that'll give us essentially 6 tiles across for different pipes and ventilation pipes if we need them. Our transit tube, a ladder, and then I'll make room for 2 heavy watt wires in case I need more than 1 at some point. Okay, we should be getting some steam here pretty soon. And how's our oxygen looking? Okay, we're up minus 160. So we're getting very close to the freezing point on the oxygen. Because all of this is in a vacuum, once it gets cold, it shouldn't heat up. I wonder if I should remove these. No, I think the ladders will be fine. Right? I wonder, I don't think the ladders transfer heat, do they? Huh. Maybe they do. Okay, so I'm going to... Alright, there we got some liquid oxygen. I'm going to remove any ladder segments from touching this, just in case those are transferring heat. Okay, and we've got starting to get some liquid oxygen. Now again, none of this is going to come out of here until we build up enough to turn this sensor on. All right, so until then, this first layer and a half or so is just going to be used to help chill the rest of the gas that goes in there. Same with the hydrogen. Hydrogen still needs to cool down another 30 degrees or so. All right, and I think the next rocket mission we do here, we can do with liquid oxygen instead of oxalate. And when you do that, the fuel requirements are much lower. You know, I guess the liquid oxygen helps burn more efficiently or something. So if you were going to go the same distance, if you use petroleum and oxalate, you need more petroleum than you would if you use petroleum and liquid oxygen. And that'll help us reach more distant destinations. And then eventually we'll go to liquid hydrogen with liquid oxygen, and we'll need that to get to the farthest reaches of space. Okay, we got a little bit of steam now. Not quite hot enough yet. And we got some liquid hydrogen now too. Cool. That is awesome. Yeah, we've reached... You can see these starting to turn off now, so we've essentially reached target temperature in there. Now, how much more hydrogen do I have? Oh, I still have a lot. That is great. Yeah, that's awesome. So this should allow us to get at least a nice initial supply of liquid hydrogen. But I think I'm going to save it until we find some distant place. I'm going to save the hydrogen until we have to have it in order to get out as far as we want. Right? Until then, petroleum is very easy to make. So I don't mind burning lots and lots of petroleum, at least not right now. We've still got tons of crude oil down here. Some of it's mixed with water, but we can fix that. Well, maybe it's not as much as I think. But we also have, you know, this will essentially give us perpetual petroleum. Or perpetual oil, anyway. And we can bring crude oil back from space as well. So I think we'll stay on petroleum rockets for as long as we can, so that we save the liquid hydrogen for when there's no other option. Okay, so like I said, this is going to have to run for a while. Once it gets to the right level, the liquid pumps will turn on and it'll start to circulate through the tanks. At that point, I'll have to start running some pipes out here to the rockets, you know, once I get them refitted for liquid oxygen use. In the meantime, this spaceship, let's see what this one revealed, by the way. Okay. Standard metals and abyssalite, nothing too... Oh, smooth hatches. So that could be interesting. Smooth hatches will eat... You can feed them ore, and they will excrete refined ore. So you can give them iron ore, copper ore, gold amalgam, and they'll crap refined iron and copper and so on. So that could come in handy, because then you don't have to use your crusher or your smelters to make refined metals. So we could always retrieve those animals. Alright, but I think we should go here next to this organic mass. Alright, so let's set our destination there. And that'll use the same amount of fuel as last time, which was 1394 kilograms. So we'll put 900 in there, and then 494 in there. Okay, Abe's already in the craft. So as soon as we get the fuel, we'll send this off on the next mission. And then we'll move out to 60,000 kilometers. Okay, looks like I can retract the gantry already, since I got refueled all in one trip. I'll reset my capacities to 0, especially since the next trip is going to be to the next ring out, which is going to require completely new fuel values. So I think, and maybe by then we'll be ready to use liquid oxygen instead of oxalite. Okay, off you go. And then this guy, Mr. Spaceship, he'll be coming back soon from this asteroid, which was kind of a mistake. I meant to send him back here for more steel, and more fullerene, but he went to this one instead. So we will get some niobium, which we can use for to make high temperature materials. Let's take a look at that, actually. But I don't really have a use for it right now. Alright, niobium. What is niobium used for? I can't remember. Maybe it was in here. Thermium. Yeah, you can make thermium from niobium and tungsten. Thermium has an overheat temperature of plus 900 C. So when you want to do stuff that's really hot, you can use thermium. You know, for example, like pumping magma and things like that. It's one of the things that thermium can be good for. Okay. So, while all this is going on, I think we should start to dig our tunnel. And I place this right here on the edge. Another thing that I need to be more careful with is exposing the base to outer space. I had these tiles open. I had a couple tiles over here that were exposed to space. And since I dug over here, that kind of opened up the entire interior of the asteroid to space, and the gases were all starting to vent out. Now, it would take a very long time probably before I noticed a problem if I hadn't seen it. So I put some drywall in. This part is still exposed to space, but over here everything is safe. There's no space exposure on this side. And then we've got our seal. So on the right side of the seal and down, everything is sealed up. But then this comes all the way over, which would potentially expose that side to space too, so I put a door up here to seal that. Actually, I think I'm just gonna lock that so that nobody opens it. So this should all be sealed now too. So I don't think anything inside the base should be able to escape anymore. Yeah, another little issue is my generators are overheating. So what I've been doing is, once I see that they start to overheat, I deconstruct it and replace it with a steel one. Because this is going to want to settle to around 70 to 80 degrees, because the gas coming out of the electrolyzers is going to be essentially the same temperature of the water. It'll be 70 degrees minimum, but since the water that I'm pumping into it is even hotter than that, you know, this is eventually going to get up probably around 100 degrees inside here. So unless I put some cooling in, which I'm going to try to avoid. The gold amalgam will go up to 125, so I'm hoping that'll be safe. But the generators, the iron generator has an overheat temperature of 75, and it's practically 75 degrees in there already. So that's why I've just been replacing these one at a time with a steel one. I didn't do it before because I didn't have much steel available when I built this thing. Okay, now the ladder, I want to try to construct the ladder out of materials that I won't have to travel too far for, but there's not really much up here. I mean, I've got a lot of mafic rock up here. I guess I can use that, but... Oh, you know what? I'm still exposed to space over here. Well, no, over here I am. And down here I am. I'm exposed to space up here. So I think I need to block this off. Let's seal that in there. Alright, we got a little item back, a stethoscope. Interesting. And this is refueling on its own. And that's okay, because I'm going to send it to the same ring. I'm going to go back to that steel asteroid. And I'm just going to continue farming that place until we have another destination that gives us more stuff that we want. Just as much or more. Okay, so this is exposed to space. And this is. So as long as we leave this closed, then all of this down here should be protected. Okay. Alright, so igneous rock might not be bad, but I think I'll start at least this top portion of the ladder with mafic rock, because I've got boatloads of it. Oh, except my problem now is I can't get over here, right? Alright, well, I'll tell you what, let's... And this is not exposed to space. So if I open this door, that will be fine. That won't be a problem. Okay. So let's just open that. And, okay, I'm already harvesting that sleet wheat. Yeah, and then we're going to dig out... Well, I can only dig out 2 tiles on each side of the ladder, so... We'll do that for now, but I'll reserve that third section. Or maybe 4 will be enough. Let's just do 4. That'll still give me the potential for 5 different pipes running up and down this tunnel. That ought to be enough. Okay, now for the heavy watt wires, I will put a couple of joint plates up here. Let's not use steel for that. I'll just use gold amalgam. I'm always hitting the wrong button. There, I'll build those first to make sure we get a seal, and then we can start digging up as well. Okay, and I don't actually want to build that stuff. I'll just do it like that for now. Okay. Now we do have space exposure behind these 4 tiles. So I'm going to dig those out as quick as I can. Nope, not that side, please. And then I'll put drywall in there before we lose too much gas. Okay, I think this guy's ready to go. Let me just double check my destination again because, yeah, see, I thought I had changed it. Satellite. There we go. Alright, let's open the door. My space scanner is slowly heating up with each launch. I originally made it out of lead, and then I looked over there and it was gone. So I think it melted after too many launches. Ah. Do I have... Oh, okay. I'm not circulating any oxygen yet. We're getting close, though. Now, what's the deal with the hydrogen? Am I out of hydrogen already? No. I think it just takes longer to liquefy the hydrogen. Because hydrogen has a lot more... Hydrogen has a higher heat capacity than oxygen does. Specific heat capacity is 2.4 versus oxygen 1.005. So theoretically, it'll take more than 2 times longer to cool down hydrogen. Plus, it's got to get to an even lower temperature. So I think that's why the hydrogen is just slower. It doesn't change temperature as quickly. But here we're starting to get close to being able to start to circulate it and accumulate some in the tanks. And once the liquid layer gets up to the thermal plates, or the temp shift plates, that'll help a bit too. Yeah, see my liquid pump is still 185 degrees, which is a little bit warm. since we're trying to cool everything to 190. Okay, the supercoolant is plenty cold enough. And it looks like we're able to deal with the heat. At least I hope so. The steam's 132 degrees. Yeah, I mean, it's not running at full capacity, so it seems like it can handle more steam going through it. But I see the temperature of the steam continuing to rise. I'm gonna have to keep my eye on that. The question is, why isn't it making more power? Maybe it's just because, I guess that just depends on how much steam is in here and how much steam pressure there is, right? All right. Well, hopefully that'll start to come down. Okay. Now we're pumping some out. Right, so if we look here, you can see that the blobs of liquid oxygen after this valve are 9 kilograms versus 10 kilograms going in. So that'll slow down the flow a bit. That'll eventually allow this to back up all the way, and then at that point we'll start to accumulate some in the tanks. But for now, we just keep it circulating so that we can keep it chilled. We don't want to let it sit still. You know, it's just like when you're, you know, if it's very cold, you open up a water tap a little bit to let water run through the pipes, and that just helps keep things from freezing. That's something that I wish I would have done in the winter of 2009 when all the pipes that ran through my garage wall broke. Fun story. Okay, so it looks like our hydrogen our hydrogen warehouse is pretty much run out. We still got a little bit more. I mean, we still got full pipes, but eventually the hydrogen is going to come in at a much slower rate than it has been. But at least we're starting to get some oxygen. So when these rockets return, I will start to refit them to run on liquid oxygen. And that'll be a fun project. Okay, let's see how we're doing on our pipe here. All right, now this transit tube, we could exit up here. The drywall. That's what I wanted to do. All right, so let's give this a priority 9. And I just need to cover those 4 tiles, because those are the ones that are, if you hover over it and you see, say, space exposure, those are the tiles that you need drywall behind if you want it to be sealed. Okay, and I think we'll provide an exit point over here. Let's install a access point. There we go. All right, perfect. And now we need to figure out what materials I have available to build this huge run of heavy watt wire. I'm only going to run one to start with because I don't have much metal ore. I guess I'll use iron. And I think I'm gonna have to start bringing in more from space, or just exploring the map and finding more. Okay, so I'll run this up here. Let's put a conductive wire bridge right there. All right, and then that'll tie into our big power supply up here. Okay. Yeah, so you can see now we're starting to collect some oxygen here in the tank. And then when the rockets are ready to accept the liquids, we'll extend the loop out and then bring it back. Right now it's just looping locally. That's some interesting hydrodynamics going on here. How much hydrogen do I have in here? Oh, okay. Yeah, see, the hydrogen pressure has gone down by quite a lot. And you can see here that the oxygen that goes in is liquefying almost immediately. That's why you see those pockets of vacuum. And our steam temperature... Has it come down? Wasn't it 138 before? I don't remember. Hopefully it'll start to come back down. Otherwise I might end up with the same problem that I had before. You know, I mean, if necessary I can shut this all down and I can expand this top chamber to hold 2 steam engines. But I've used this before and I didn't have any problem with heat building up, so unless there was a change to the game, I'm not sure why I would start to have a problem again. Okay, so deconstruct that and then we can connect it. Alright. In the meantime, we keep going with our ladder. All the way down. And we'll clear out 2 tiles on each side. All the way down. And follow right beside it with the transit tube. I think I still have plenty of plastic. Ooh, not anymore. Let's make sure we're producing plastic. Okay, yeah, we are. Might want to add a second plastic press somewhere. I didn't really leave myself much room for expansion down here. Okay. So let's see if, is there any place where I can get ores? Metal ore? Or is it only refined metals coming in from space? Iron and copper is refined already. Okay, I can get copper ore from here. So maybe I farm this planet for a while I'm building my wires. That's refined as well. I think that's probably going to be my best option. These two planets here. This one to get steel and fullerene, and this one to get copper ore. And a bunch of other junk that I don't need. Right, now from space, I'm getting... Okay, I am getting some ores from space. So we should probably just go up here and dig on a periodic basis so that that stuff is accessible. And there's a bunch over here too. So maybe I want to open up this way and start digging all this stuff out. Like right here. Yeah, let's do that. Because that'll give me access to all the metal that's falling over here. I can't build one of those tiles. Now that will allow the possibility for meteors to come in this way, so I'm going to have to build a bit of a roof. Well, I'll dig all this out first, so there'll be some of it that I can't really collect. Or... yeah, I can do this. No, I think either way I'm gonna have to expose a ladder. Or I can just build a steel staircase like I did. Alright, I'll leave it for now. Okay, and we're starting to build up from the bottom as well. So let's put in an access point there. Well, no, that's not going to help me right now. That'll just allow me to get there from the top. Ah, okay. And I should be able to connect that now. I think everything I'm building is priority 9 now. Let's change that back to 5. Okay, well the oxygen's looking good. I've already got 1,700 kilograms, and that's minus 188. Not quite target temperature, but I'm sure that part of the issue is just that all these pipes and the tanks and things were holding some heat. We put the reservoirs on mesh tile because the mesh tile won't transfer any heat away from the reservoirs, whereas if we put them on bunker tiles or some other type of tile they would, but mesh tiles and airflow tiles don't transmit any heat unless there's a gas inside of it or a liquid, and since we're in a vacuum, these will keep things at whatever temperature they need to be at. Alright, but it's leaving the tank at 188.8 and it's coming back in at 188.4. Okay, so it is picking up a little bit of heat along the way, probably from the pipe itself and from the storage tanks. And then since we've got a fairly large quantity of stuff in here, that's going to kind of even out the temperature as well. How are we doing here? 138.3. Alright, well the temperature's not climbing too drastically. So hopefully that'll be okay. Okay, and I've got power now on my transit tube. One thing I could do is I could run transit tube over here to join up with this one. I think that's a good idea. Let's do that. Where do I want to cut across? Maybe right here. Can I go through ladder? No. Okay, let's just come across this way. And we'll hook in there. Now, I don't think I want all these... I don't think I want all this liquid dripping down into the rest of the base. So let's see if we can... Yeah, okay, so here's what we'll do. I should probably switch ladder materials at this point. What have I got down here? Sedimentary rock. Alright, so we'll start making out of sedimentary rock. Okay, so I'll bring that down to there. And then I'll dig all this out. And that'll help the water spread out a little bit, and then I can build some wall sections to force it over to the left. And it looks like we're gonna have to wait for plastic to be made. Let's see if we can get some more plastic production going. Where are we going? Here we are. I just need 3 tiles. 1, 2. What am I storing in here? That's where lime goes. Okay. That doesn't need to be in a container. So we'll deconstruct that. And then I'll just move my generator over by 3 tiles. And then we can put in a second plastic machine. You did. And that's because you can't get off of that ledge, can you? Alright. Well, you've got some sedimentary rock there. So go ahead and make yourself a ladder. I'm going to enable proximity on my priorities. I think that might help things. There we go. How did they get here in the first place? Yeah, they don't have a path anymore. Okay, I see some granite over here, so like I said, I'm going to start to build a wall to push this liquid over and out of the way. Looks like his suit is out of air too. Here, I think if I dig that out, you can walk home. Okay. So we'll start by building 2 tiles there. And I'm going to cut across like that. I'll have to raise the wall as I push it over. Oh, you know what? There might be an easier way. Cancel that. We could just drain it out here. Yeah, I think that'll be easier. We can drain it all down into here, and then I'll just mop up whatever's left. Okay. Natural gas. Can now go right there. 1, 2, 3. That tile can go there. This goes on the input. The output is for CO2. We can deconstruct that. No, I can't deconstruct that tile. Where is this water being pumped? Okay, that's fine. My auto sweeper's in the way. I'll have to move that too. And I actually need to replace those with solid tiles so that that little bit of fluid will accumulate there. There we go. automation. Okay, use the same automation wire. What is that? Lead. Can't see. Is that getting down into that tile? I can't. I want to make that tooltip go away because I can't see if it's getting here. What if I zoom out? That doesn't help either, does it? Okay. Let's place it there. Alright. Yeah, it works. Well, that's convenient. This might make some of the CO2 back up. We'll see. Oh, okay, and petroleum's flowing right through it too. No, it's saying pipe blocked. I'm assuming it means the output pipe. Alright. So we need to give it its own little pipe segment. Alright, now it should start running as soon as that automation wire finishes building. Alright, somebody else is stuck. There you go, guys. Remember how you got out there? Just go back in the same way. Oh, yeah. Ooh, looks like they're getting hot too. All right. All right, what'd you bring me? Okay, so this one I'm changing to 0. Yeah, and this one let's change to 0 too, because I'm not going to need as much petroleum the next time, since I'm going to be switching to liquid fuel. So we'll deconstruct the solid oxidizer tank and replace it with a liquid oxidizer tank. And we've got a couple artifacts down there that we can put on our pedestals. Okay, well this is continuing to go okay. Alright, looks like we've used up all of our stored hydrogen, so the hydrogen is going to be coming in fairly slowly from this point forward. But we'll have plenty of oxygen. And once these 2 tanks are full, we won't get any more hydrogen until we use that, so we're going to have to keep these trips going. How did I lose my power there? That's curious. Okay, so now we need to do a little bit of plumbing. So we're going to use insulated pipe made out of ceramic. So we've got one liquid oxidizer tank here, and there's going to be another one down here. Alright, so I'm going to put the... What are these pipes made out of? Alright, those are ceramic too. So I'm going to put bridges on the petroleum because I'm not sure what the insulating value is of petroleum. All right, so then this one should go there, I think. Let's check the properties of one of these. Liquid bridge. That's granite. That one's igneous rock. Okay. Why is that sedimentary rock? All right. The liquid bridge thermal conductivity is 0.62 versus 0.019 for the insulated pipe, right? So liquid bridges are not insulated, which is why I want to use those on the petroleum. Rather than on my liquid oxygen pipe. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait to connect this first of all. So it'll come out and then we'll come down here. We'll go across into there. Then down there. And then into the tank there. Let's see, I might have to rearrange this a little bit because the return line needs to go up there. Okay. Okay, so actually this will be the send. And then this will be the return. Right, and we'll reconnect it there. And then we'll need another liquid bridge. Right there. Okay, so that liquid bridge is built already, so that pipe we can deconstruct. Okay, and then eventually we'll do the same thing for the hydrogen. The hydrogen will use the same liquid fuel tanks. That's why we've got two symbols there, one for liquid oxygen, one for petroleum, one for liquid hydrogen, and then this is oxalate and liquid oxygen, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what those things mean. I'll just deconstruct the pipes right now. I don't need them. I'm not fueling at the moment, so we don't necessarily need to wait for the bridges to get done. Now, I'm a little nervous about these pipes being so close to where the rocket is going to take off. I'm hoping that they won't collect too much heat. Yeah, see, the bunker tile is 476 degrees. So let's do this. I'm going to deconstruct the bunker tiles where the insulated pipes pass through. Just to avoid any possibility that they could exchange heat with the bunker tile. Okay. And I still have a pretty good amount of ceramic. There goes my ladder. Well, there's a bunch of meat up here. From dead, whatever you call them. And from there we can dig all the way out to the edge of the map. That's as far as we can go. Hope they don't get hit by too many meteors. Yeah, and they need to be supervised, because if this entrance gets blocked, they won't be smart enough to dig it up on their own. So we'll just come clear this out every once in a while, and then we can gather up all the ore. Then again, all this ore is going to be very hot. And I don't know that I necessarily want them bringing this stuff back into my base. Alright, they're going to sleep out there. Okay, one more thing here before I wrap up. Let's display our newfound objects. We have a Rubik's Cube. And we have a stethoscope. What? Oh. Yeah, this piping is unreachable. So I'll cut some holes in the wall so I can get to it. They're going to have the same problem here. I think they'll be able to reach all the way. Yeah, they should be able to. Over here they can't. But I got room for one more ladder segment. Hopefully that'll be enough. Alright. Looks like my other rocket is returning. assign Frankie so he can go do some other work for a while. And we'll be ready for him for a bit. I don't even know if I'm going to get enough hydrogen to start putting it in the tank. So I think we're going to have to run off liquid hydrogen or liquid oxygen and petroleum for a while, I think, before we have enough hydrogen built up to do anything. Okay, so we'll free Abe from his assignment, or Abe, whatever his name is. Okay, we'll deconstruct the solid oxidizer. Let's set the liquid oxidizer capacity to 0. Okay. Looks like it's all reachable now. Okay, and I'll have to watch this one too, so as soon as it's done building, I'll set the capacity to 0. I haven't hooked up the pipes here yet, so we'll be safe from any mistakes, at least for now. Yeah, I think removing these steel tiles was a good idea. Look, the liquid bridge is 484 degrees. The petroleum in this pipe is 194 degrees. And in this pipe it's 34.2. So that's how much heat it's taking in from that steel wall. Okay, looks like that's ready. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and connect this. And then I'll cut that piece of pipe there. Alright, now let's watch our temperature. So here, it's minus 188. Alright, so it can get as warm as 183 before it'll start to vaporize. Well, 183 plus it has to go... Ooh. Is that pipe not there? Well, it must be there, otherwise it wouldn't be flowing. Why is it not going? Ooh, that's bad. It passed through here. Why didn't it? Oh, okay. Because it's not done here yet. Alright. Let's consider that an emergency. Because we don't want that to get too warm. There we go. Okay. Well, now we can let's send this rocket out again, and let's check and see what our new fuel requirements are. Okay, so previously, to go 30,000 kilometers, we needed 1,706 kilograms of petroleum and oxalite. But if I change it now to use liquid oxygen, we need only 928. Alright, I've already got a little bit in here. So 928 divided by 2 is 450, 464, right? So we'll just load in 464 into each of these tanks. Okay, and then we'll put in 928 on the liquid O2. Let's get our astronaut loaded in. We'll send Nisbet this time. She hasn't gone out in a while. She's no longer stressed. Okay. Yeah, temperatures are looking good. Still nice and chill. Okay, and we're loaded up. Let me just double check my destination. Okay, so we're going to go to the steel planet this time, not the copper ore planet. Is that what we want to do? I think I'd rather go to this copper ore planet, to be honest. Okay. Well, the temperature inside the pipe still looks good. Doesn't seem like the rocket launch was too much of a problem. Okay, and that was done with a lot less, about half as much petroleum as we used before to go the same distance, just by switching over to liquid oxygen, which is a lot more efficient to, well, maybe not more efficient to make. We're using a lot of power to run this thing. 137. Okay, so it seems like the temperature is manageable. Okay, so let's plan the next mission for this guy. Alright, so these are both explored, so now we can go out to 60,000 kilometers. So let me check my calculator there. 60,000 liquid oxygen, and we need 1,211. That'll be 900 and 311 in that one. Okay, the oxygen's in. Alright, this one's ready to go. We'll send Frankie. I'm not sure if the temperature will change once it's loaded into the rocket. So we might not be able to just leave the rocket sitting there for too long. 188.3. man. I wonder how long he's been up there. Sunburn. Ooh, that's not good. I guess he slept out there. Good thing I have a hospital. That wasn't Frankie, was it? Okay, no, that was Dolly. Good. Alright, seems to be maintaining temperature inside the spaceship. Okay, I wonder if I'm going to have to restart the game to get Frankie to come up here. The last time I had this problem where they wouldn't come to the spaceship, I just saved the game and restarted it, and they went up there right away. Who's this? No, he's going back. Okay. Yeah, I think I might have to do that. All right, well, it's time to quit anyway. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. It was a long episode. Appreciate it. See you next time. Bye-bye.